Here we go. Ready? Oh, who's better than me? Yeah. What's up, everybody? Well, a little tired. Sunday morning. Stayed up late last night. Watched the Red Sox win Game 6. Patriots today. Psyched. Told you guys all year long they were gonna make it into the World Series, but I think that stuff got cut out. But anyways, I'm really tired. This, by far, has been the hardest thing I've had to do on this secretary so far, and it's these return angles on the these moldings right here. So I'm gonna give it an attempt to break it down so it makes sense. It's probably not gonna be too helpful because it barely makes sense to me and I'm the one who's doing it. But anyways, alright. You can see that this angle here is like the rake angle, okay? So this piece of wood needs to fit that rake angle, but see how it's got the flat spot on the front of it, the back of it, whatever? If I bring this in like that, right? See what happened? It needs to go on the angle of the rake. You get me? I should probably move the camera so you can see this. You know, you see that I have this return angle and it's going like perfectly around the corner. And when you drop it down and you look at it from underneath, it follows the same profile. Is that super bad or what? But what it means ultimately is that these moldings on this side are completely different than the moldings on this side. They just look like they're the same, but trust me, trust me everybody, they're not. Because I've been racking my brain trying to figure it out. But that is the look that I'm going for. I still have to put the OG and the little quarter round in there. Okay, but there's my missing tooth. And here's the next section of molding, okay? You see how I just can't take this piece of molding and stick it up there? Because obviously it's not going to work. So what I needed to do was figure out the angle of the rake angle, you know? The rake angle of the bedangle. And where is it? But hang on a sec, I got my piece of wood around there somewhere. Ah, here it is. Right here. So here's the rake angle. You got me? So, but now you see that it still doesn't fit. You see it's got a big whomping gap right here? That's because you need to put the rake angle on the front and the back of the piece. So ultimately, this is the stock that I had for the front. You know, I mean, here and here, I mean, it fits perfectly, right? But as soon as you change the angle of the back of the piece of wood, this profile is no good anymore. So, this is what we ended up with. Check it out. Okay? Now you see how this fits perfectly now? I still have to put the groove in the bottom of it, but you see what I'm saying? This is the piece of wood that fits on that angle, okay? And what's really crazy about this, I should probably go over to the bench so I can show you. The color looks funny. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Alright. I'm going to see if I can break this down so it makes a little sense to you, okay? Alright. The first thing I had to figure out was the thickness of the stock, okay? This is the original stock that's on the front and that's going up the rake. This is the little cove at the bottom. And this is what it ends up looking like on the rake. Can you guys see that? Can you see the ultimate difference in these two? And they are totally different. Okay? I mean, they're not even the same. Not even a little bit. See that this cove is like tight and this cove is really elongated? You see? See what I'm getting at? And the piece of stock is thinner. Now the reason why that this stock is thinner than this piece and this is a elongated profile is because it's not a 45-degree angle at the top of this rake. Okay? Now this is a 45. You see how that fits nicely together? No problem. So if you were doing a return on a piece of crown molding or whatever, sorry my voice is scratchy everybody, I'm just tired. Suck down a little coffee. Alright. You see what I'm saying? This is a 45-degree angle, so the outside profile lines up perfectly. Now the rake angle is less than 45 degrees in the face, so it makes that the return piece is going to be longer than 45 degrees, you know? And this is what happens. Now you can see that these two pieces are like the same piece of wood. See what happened? See how stretched out it got? So I would have to cut this piece of wood right here to make them the same, and you can see that that would not work out so well. You see what I'm saying to you? So there's the difference right there. So this is the first challenge that I had to figure out, and that's why that this piece here on the very bottom is thinner than this piece on the return. Now the same thing applied with the dental molding. Okay, you guys already saw me make dental molding, so I don't really think I need to make it again. But instead of having the dental molding, you know, straight up like this, when I was running across the saw, you remember how I was running it and it had the teeth on it? So, you know, I just ran it, flipped it and ran it and kept going. This time I had to do it on the rake angle like this, okay? See how this has an angle on it, on the bottom? So I did that on the bottom, so the teeth would come through the side of it on an angle. So when you look at the dental molding, it has a pitch to it. And then the next little challenge I had to deal with is this one here. You can see that this is, you see the profile on this one? Right there? With this outside edge? And look at the profile on that one. So these are really, really different. Okay? I mean, completely different. So what I had to do, basically, I had to figure out the new shape from the old one. So all this old stock is really no good whatsoever. I mean, it's junk. So this is what I did. I come over to the piece, right? And I have my stock, and I would fit it. So I fit this piece essentially, okay? And then I just traced a profile on the piece of wood, you know, and then I brought it over to the shaper, and I got as close as I possibly could with the bits that I have. Now, you know, I don't have bits. You can see that this was cut from a table saw, and this is a round over box bit, and this is from the table saw. You know what I mean? So you just kind of have to fit it the best you can. And then once I had that cut, you can see, let's see, that this right here, even though it fits, well, that doesn't fit at all. Hang on. Oh, where's that piece of wood? Still early, everybody. Still early. Here it is. You can see that how this one fits, okay? See how it fits that profile nicely? But it doesn't fit on the front, you know? So you have to kind of cut the front of this to match the back, like this. You follow? So you end up with a big blank. And I have one. Here it is. So you end up with a blank that looks like this. And then the next step I had to do was figure out these two angles here. And it's basically just like cutting a piece of crown molding. Alright? So I brought it over to the chop saw, okay? So I got the chop saw all set up, obviously. And you just don't cut it like this. You cut it on the angle. So you hold the angle of the piece of wood up tight to your fence. And then you just cut it. And that gives you that compound miter, like this. And that's how I did it. And you can see, I mean, look at my shop, everybody. Look at all the junk around that saw. And look at all the junk on my bench. Okay? All over the floor, all around this piece of, all around the pediment. I got clamps on the floor. I got crapola everywhere. And you know why? It's because of this thing. It's been so hard. Like honestly, guys, this thing has been really, really difficult. And it's pushing me to the limits. I'm tired, a little pissed off, but it's okay. What can I do? I had to cut all new pieces of material, so you know what? Me and Steve went agonized over saving all that material and making all the nice molding, making sure it's all the same color, blah, 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 blah. And I made all the stuff, and none of it worked. So it's a little depressing, you know? I just thought I was going to be able to make a block and cut it to the angle and fit it, but the entire profile wouldn't have lined up because they're not 245s, you know? So what I did was I cut it out of the other block. This is still the piece of wood that I have, but look at the grain in it. It's toast. So a lot of this stuff is just gnarly grain, but I cut into it and it seems to be working all right. All right, you know what, guys? I'm sure that made no sense at all. I'm still getting used to the camera and where it's at. So it's kind of hard. Hey, there I am. Yes, I'm the construction man. All right, whatever, guys. I'm tired. Freaking drooling and everything. This sucks. Oh, I just want it to be over. You know what I mean? I really just, I'm spent. I just want it to be over. Woohoo! But anyways, guys, this is what I'm doing. So now today, I need to figure out the OG and cut that angle, and then I still have to put that return soffit on that piece on the return. But I know in my heart it's gonna look so nice, and one day I'm gonna be proud of it, you know? And hopefully my execution is gonna be good. And I'm probably just babbling, chewing up vital friggin' time on this camera, so I'm gonna shut up. Alright, T-Chisel, Red Sox Nation, Pats undefeated, Bruins and Celtics are coming next, buddy.